In the gameplay reveal trailer, how does Ellie level the playing field against multiple big dudes? It's The Last of Us Part 2. I'm your host, Ify, and today I'm here with Jeff Imada here at the Sound Academy. And not only are you an instructor, but you're a stunt coordinator. What are some of the films you worked on?
Yeah, I worked with Matt Damon on a lot of the Bourne films, Fight Club with Brad Pitt.
Ow! It hit me in the ear.
All right, so we're gonna jump aboard this hype train and talk about The Last of Us Part 2 gameplay trailer that was just released. And in it, we jump into some action scenes with Ellie as she's sneaking around. It seems like she has to get past a whole group of enemies, and they are much bigger than her. We went from, going from a character like Joel, who was like a kind of bigger dude, kind of overpowered someone, to seeing Ellie, now 19 years old, and she's still kind of small, slender, but she's just as lethal. So right out the gate, what are your thoughts on Ellie's fighting style? Like what she's using to take these people down?
Well, obviously because of her size, she's not as big as Joel. She needs to keep her distance. So her bow and arrow is one of her main weapons. And then if she is in close range combat, she carries a knife and goes for soft tissue areas. She needs to hit and disappear and just stay away from her opponents as much as possible.
That's why I actually lift so many weights, so I can defend against stab wounds. I think that's where we'll start. Let's talk about the size differential here. A small, slender 19-year-old woman going up against these kind of burly dudes with axes.
Because of her size, she'd prefer not to go hand-to-hand. So a good example of why she doesn't want to do hand-to-hand combat is toward the end of the trailer, you see her getting grabbed by a larger assailant and getting thrown through glass and being manhandled and thrown around or punched. She won't survive very long. So you need something to equal the playing field.
Like an explosive arrow.
Yeah, or a hand grenade or something. When you're training, you want to be put in a situation where you actually feel that type of pressure and the energy that's coming at you. If, as Joel training her, I would put her in a very uncomfortable position for her to feel what it is to have to survive. Probably throwing her around, grabbing her, strangling her, stuff like that. She would have to know how to counter that. So if you grabbed me and started going here, instead of me struggling to get away, I'd probably just go for, counter that and go for, the eyes or the throat. Also knowing how to, do locks and things, and also because of your size, if you're coming at me, using the energy to throw you and get you away from me. Stay calm and take in the surroundings, always being aware of who's around. Don't just focus on the one person, but be aware that could be multiple opponents around you. I would also emphasize as far as tactile. So as soon as you touch me, I'd feel your energy as far as whether you're trying to take me this way or that way. And because of her size, she'd have to use that for her advantage because she doesn't have the size.
That kind of takes me back to almost Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because especially when you're training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're really being choked, but as you do it more, you get almost more comfortable with still thinking while basically being choked out by someone.
Yeah, and that's what you want to get away from. You don't want to be thinking, because it takes time for your mind to process things, and if you're trying to think of how to react, then it's too late. As an instructor, is like Joel trying to teach her and bring her up to that level and being very comfortable with this level of violence, but because it is a choice, you have to make that choice, and you can't just second guess everything. It's either you stay alive or the other person stays alive.
Now we got weapons. Ellie uses a lot of weapons in the situation. There are a lot of weapons being used.
When you're using a weapon, you have to understand what the weapon was designed for. If it's a long-range weapon, like a bow and arrow, or if it's a gun, obviously that's not necessarily for close range. You can use it for close range. And then they're hand weapons, like a baseball bat or a sword or a knife. You really have to understand what that weapon was designed for, and also that you can use it for more than that purpose. If you have a sword, you may slice with it, cut with it, but you can also use it as a flail and hit with it, and you can use the butt end of it to, for close range. And having a gun too is like a handgun. You can, obviously you're going to shoot people at a distance, but you can use that and whip them with it, and and actually knock people out with it. If you take out an opponent and they have a weapon such as a machine gun or a gun or a sword or a knife, and you can pick that up and utilize it, you pick it up and use that. The more efficient you are, the more weapons you have at the time to take somebody out is to your advantage.
And then there was also just using her environment. Like lots of times she went ahead and she picked up a bottle, threw it at someone, and at one point she crafted on the spot an explosive arrow.
I'm all about using the environment. I mean, you see her hiding in the tall grass, or hiding behind vehicles, or hiding behind a wall. That's very important to be able to know and understand how to use the environment to your advantage. Even if an opponent comes at you and you're fighting with them and you see somebody else coming to shoot at you, you may want to step to the side of them, or take them out and hold them up to use them as a shield, and then discard them because of because obviously they're really now dead weight.
So what if they have weapons of their own, maybe similar or even better than yours?
And you run. I mean, you obviously have to be aware of what type of weapons they have, what they're capable of doing. Handguns or machine guns or bows and arrows, you want to be able to know how to evade that or hide from that, and be able to avoid that at all costs.
Okay, so it seems like you can fight off multiple assailants as long as you're using your advantages. Is that correct?
Yeah, understanding yourself and what you can do and what your abilities are, knowing your assailants, what they're doing, if they have other weapons on them, what their weapons are capable of doing, using the environment, also the weapons I carry, how I can use that to my advantage, and also just using my brain to try and evade and isolate your opponents so that they can't ever get a hold of you.
Your brain is the strongest weapon of all. Where can people find you?
You can find me here at the Inasano Academy, or at Stunts Unlimited, or hidden in plain sight.
All right, I'll keep my eyes open. Thanks for watching, and make sure you come back every Friday for some more fighting show. Follow Gamma Ray across the web, and comment below. Let us know what fight scenes you'd like to see in the future. Like, subscribe. This is our secret handshake.